The necessity and significance of China's opening up. 1. Economic reform needs. In the early 1970s, China faced severe economic difficulties, with low productivity and a pressing need to improve living standards. To overcome these challenges, opening up and reform became essential. By establishing economic ties with Western countries, particularly the United States, China was able to introduce much-needed technology, capital, and management expertise, which propelled domestic economic growth and modernization. The normalization of Sino-American relations opened the U.S. market, the largest economy in the world, providing China with extensive trade opportunities and investment that significantly boosted its economy. 2. Technological and managerial advancements. Through opening up, especially with the U.S., China gained access to advanced technology and managerial expertise. American technology enhanced China's productivity and industrial capabilities, while U.S. business practices set examples for Chinese companies, aiding in their reform and internationalization efforts. These exchanges and collaborations accelerated China's modernization, laying a strong foundation for economic transformation and sustainable development. 3. International recognition and diplomatic needs. By establishing diplomatic relations with the U.S., China enhanced its standing in the global community, no longer facing international isolation. This shift not only helped China secure much-needed international aid but also positioned the country as a more prominent player in global affairs. Improving relations with the U.S. also allowed China to gain broad international support, particularly in countering Soviet geopolitical influence, thus increasing China's global influence. 2. The historical context, significance, and necessity of the U.S. opening the Chinese market. 1. Cold War context and geopolitical considerations. During the Cold War, tensions between the U.S. and the Soviet Union escalated. By establishing relations with China, the U.S. broke the Soviet strategic encirclement of China and weakened Soviet influence globally. This strategic shift was critical not only to U.S. geopolitical positioning but also enhanced its flexibility and maneuverability in international affairs. Normalizing Sino-American relations became a crucial element in America's Cold War strategy. 2. Economic needs and market opportunities. In the late 1970s, the U.S. faced stagflation, stagnant economic growth with high inflation, industrial overcapacity, and an energy crisis, which stalled its economic growth. The U.S. urgently needed to expand into new markets to drive economic recovery, and China, as an emerging market, offered tremendous potential. Normalizing relations with China opened up this vast market to U.S. businesses, especially in consumer goods and technology sectors, offering significant export and investment opportunities. 3. Dollar expansion and global economic strategy. The U.S. aimed to increase the use of the dollar globally through trade and investment with China, stabilizing the dollar's international standing. By engaging in economic cooperation with China, the U.S. facilitated the internationalization of the dollar and expanded its influence in the global economy. The opening of the Chinese market also provided a solution for America's overproduction problem and strengthened its position as the leading global economic power. 3. The significance of restoring diplomatic relations for both sides in the world. 1. Significance for China. Restoring diplomatic relations with the U.S. not only brought extensive economic cooperation but also accelerated China's integration into the global economy. Through cooperation with the U.S., China improved its productivity, raised living standards, and advanced domestic industrial modernization. Sino-American relations laid the international foundation for China's economic reform and opening up, positioning China favorably in the process of globalization. 2. Significance for the U.S. For the U.S., establishing diplomatic ties with China was a key move not only in countering the Soviet Union but also in expanding its global economic strategy. Access to the Chinese market provided American businesses with new growth opportunities, easing domestic economic pressures, and furthering the dollar's global expansion. Sino-American cooperation strengthened America's global influence while helping the U.S. gain a strategic advantage during the Cold War. 3. Global impact. The normalization of Sino-American relations marked a significant shift in the global balance of power, breaking decades of hostility and isolation. The improved relationship between the two countries not only fostered diplomatic and economic cooperation but also accelerated global economic integration, promoting trade and technology exchange worldwide. Additionally, Sino-American cooperation had profound effects on the global Cold War landscape, reshaping the balance of power and becoming a milestone in international relations history. The normalization of Sino-American relations not only contributed to China's economic development and enhanced America's global influence but also generated long-term economic and strategic benefits for the entire world.